Alright, here we go, going into the second one of the day for me. For T5s, anyway. And I've slowed this one down to 100%, and if you know anything about me and my rooms, there's a very specific reason I did. This is the one that we're always looking for, we're always trying to find, and mostly so we can die, but not today. This is the Angel Room for my Hawks with 2 Cinnables. This one was actually a reasonably easy one. 2 Cinnables has a fair bit of damage, but it doesn't tend to be overwhelming. The 5 Dramiels and 3 Elite Dramiels were a little bit of a concern for me. I'm like, I don't know how this one's going to go. Always, 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 always overheat that hardener. That hardener is the easiest thing to overheat to give you a good amount of extra tank and to help you get through things like this. Notice all of the webs just hit. That's when you're going to start taking the most damage. So overheating your shield booster is also very important. If you need to do that as well, if you feel concerned, and you very well will the first few times you run this, make sure that shield booster's overheated. There's nothing wrong with that. So focus down the 2 Cinnables first. That releases a lot of the nuke pressure on all of my ships, as well as a lot of the damage. The Cinnables do quite a bit of damage. I had forgotten to put my pilots on there, but they're there so you can see them now. They did not take any particularly high amount of damage. Turn off your overheat when needed. It's good to have a lot of skill in overheat so that you can keep it overheated longer. See, we did take about 25% damage, I think, on that hardener, which is extremely acceptable because that means you could do 4 of those rooms before you would die, and there aren't 4 rooms, so you'll have time to repair in between. And here's the other thing. If you see how far away I am from my guys, I ended up drifting about 25-30 kilometers away. So you don't want to leave them too far behind because the webs will switch onto other characters, and then you'll get out of DPS range, which, of course, can become a problem. I think, was that this one? No. Okay, so this one has short-range multi-body tracking. It does not have deviance, so I'm not worried about my missiles being destroyed in this one. But obviously, you don't want to be too close to the tracking if you can help it. Don't fly towards things like tracking pylons and blue clouds in Cinnable rooms. It goes very badly. So this is the first Angel room in my series. Now, this is the room that will absolutely murder a lot of the cheap Hawk fits that run through here. I honestly can't remember what the other room that 50% of the time it wrecks the cheap Hawk fits, but this room is not one, like, my Hawks can survive this, the cheap Hawks cannot. And my Hawks, they're more expensive, but they're not really that expensive. They pay off in 2 runs. So if you can get through 2 filaments, generally these are paid off. They're 650 million without doing any upgrades, which again, we're not doing upgrades for this series. Yeah, so Angel Room, once the Cinnables are dead, once you have most of the Dramiels down, the Dramiels themselves, unless there's a significant number of them, aren't really going to be an issue. You can kind of free fire everything. Make sure you stay in range of your guys. Start heading over to grab that loot because you're going to need it to pay off any losses you get from this room. This room you have to be very preemptive and, like, don't burn out your stuff, but you can absolutely use some heat, and it's a bit better to use a little more heat than a little less heat. If there were more Cinnables, I would have overheated my missiles on the first one. I've done it a few times, even on the Elite Cinnables. I don't know what that graphics bug is, by the way. It's annoying, though. But even on the Elite Cinnables, I haven't burned out my guns from full shield to it being dead by overheating, and that will kill it 15% faster at least. A little bit more if there's reps. That was terrible loot. And it makes a world of difference. Having one dead 15% quicker, usually before it reaches you, is fantastic. Alright, off to the next room.